Alright, good morning YouTube. Today's video I'm going to be going over the r/AskFitness subreddit. So I'm on Quora, I'm on a variety of different things because, there's new people into the iron game every single day. There's new people trying to get fit. There's always someone who found Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever is the most popular fitness influencer nowadays. And for better or for worse, they've decided that they want to embark on the lifting path. And hopefully they do so with honor, integrity, and don't fall into the trap of being impatient and relying on pharmaceuticals to get their gains, but just trusting the process and going through the entire process for 10 plus years. So for them to do that, I think it's very important that they ask the right questions, but more importantly, they get the right answer for the time, because good advice given at the wrong time is bad advice. So let's see what kind of questions are being asked on r/AskFitness, because maybe you have the same exact questions. All right, how to get better at pull-ups. I'm a big guy. I can easily do like 5 bicep pull-ups in a row, so he means chin-ups, but I struggle to do 1 wide grip pull-up. I'm not sure as to what I should focus on training, since I'm a big guy and pull-ups are harder for us to begin with. In general, harder for us to begin with. So 192 centimeters. Oh, thank goodness, yeah, because like I was about to say, like, what is that in cheeseburgers and football fields? 6'3" ish, 95 kilograms. So 100 kilograms is 220 pounds. So he's 6'3", 200 something. So um, not bad. Like being so here's the thing: if you can do 5 chins, 5 pull-ups, you're already stronger than 70% of all men in the world. I remember reading that a long time ago, so the number is probably wrong, but I just kind of like to use that framework to show that pull-ups are fucking difficult. They're fucking hard, especially when you're that big and that heavy. Yeah, it's pretty damn difficult. Like I do 5 chin-ups. I can do like if I really push myself, I get like that 8 to 10 or maybe 12 on a good day, but I weigh about 260. So yeah, they're definitely hard. But how do you get better at them? Practice. So the grease the groove method. The grease the groove method is one of the most effective ways to get better at pull-ups, but here's the thing. I actually think it's ideal for bodyweight exercises in particular. I don't think it'll work on anything else. I don't think that it'll work for a variety of reasons depending on, like, let's see what you have access to. So let's say on a bench press or a barbell squat or even a barbell deadlift, I don't think it's going to work all that well for those movements. But it can. I mean, if let's say your max is on bench press like 225 and above, and you only do 95 or 135 pounds, and you only do 1 to 3 reps, maybe. But is that feasible? Like, do you have access to a barbell that regularly? Like, is it just in your garage gym, or do you actually have to go to a gym to do that? And if that's the case, not worth it. What about deadlifts? Same thing. If you have access to it and you can just kind of leave your barbell sitting out there in your garage, just waiting for you to come deadlift it every hour, then sure, why not? Do I think that's necessary? No, I don't even think the best deadlifters in the world do anything like that. But what about for pull-ups? Jesus Christ, that's a big fly. What about for pull-ups? Pull-ups, no. They really benefit from frequency. So here's something that I always tell all my clients who want to get better at pull-ups, and honestly, all my clients, I make them get better at pull-ups just because I really stand by that movement. When we train, never get anywhere close to failure. When it comes to developing your pull-ups, I tell them the moment it gets hard, you're done. Like this is very counterintuitive to almost everything else that I will ever talk about, because with pull-ups, it's a mix of a skill and a muscular property or something to that extent, where you want to not sacrifice potential reps by doing more reps per set, but rather doing more sets at lower reps. So for example, I can easily do 10 sets of 3. But if I were to do a set of 10, the amount of total pull-ups I'll get within that session will almost be cut in half. So 10 sets of 3, that's 30 reps of pull-ups at 260 pounds. If I do my max, which is around 10, 12, or let's say 8 if I'm like really under recovered, because strength can vary, especially with something like pull-ups for us heavier dudes. If I do something like that, my next set, I'm going to hit half that. After 3 to 5 minutes, I might get like 75% of that, but generally speaking, the strength drop off after a certain point with bodyweight exercises like a pull up, where it's just where you're heavy, it's a lot because you have to think like if you were to do a deadlift with this amount of weight, how hard would that be? So that's kind of why when it comes to doing pull ups, do them more frequently. So set a timer every hour. Every hour, do like 10 push-ups, one pull-up or something like that, and then over time you bump that up. So let's say you do 2 pull-ups, 20 push-ups. Why do I want you to do push-ups with this? Because they work. Then sometimes like when you just develop muscles in the entire upper body, everything just starts to work better. So why not, right? But generally speaking, if you want, you can just do the pull-ups. So every hour, at the top of the hour, just do 1, 2, or 3 pull-ups. Your max is 5, so I would much rather see you do 2 to 3 pull-ups and go from there and build from there. And best of luck to you. So in your training sessions or at home, just never go to failure on pull-ups, but do them way more frequently. That is a big fly. Did it get stuck in a thing? Like, I'm so sorry. Jeez. All right, let's see the next question. All right, what have I done to myself? I'm not gonna get into that. Greetings. Let's see. Let's do this. This is a big block of text, but I'm currently trying out the push-pull legs program, so I have a bunch of questions. I ain't a deadlift in person because I hate when the grip loosens up when the bar slips from my hands, and I feel like I have a ton of strength, but the grip screws it all up. So do you think straps will help for the deadlift? Let's see. Non-beginner. I'm going to trust you and say that you're not a beginner. If unless you got some beefy ass sausage fingers or like bear claws or bear mitts, whatever, yeah, get some fucking straps, dude. Like, I remember when I first started lifting, Brian Alsrew was just like, he only uses straps for things like rows. He doesn't believe that you should do use straps or anything like that on deadlifts, and he can deadlift like 700 plus pounds. But if you ever watch any of his videos and you hear him clap, you know that everyone in a 50-mile radius just heard him clap because his hands are just fucking huge. So he can grip that bar no problem. Now, I've met several people who want to start lifting, and I noticed that their hands are not that big. And I mean, the bar isn't that thick either, but grip, hand size, it's all going to be very relative. It's going to change. It's going to vary. So if you're, and here's another thing, I am of the belief that your full body strength, because the deadlift is a full body movement, will always outclass your grip strength. The grip is, the stability of the wrists, elbows, and whatnot, the strength of the forearm, and the flexors of the fingers. Is that ever going to be stronger than, let's say, your legs, your spinal erectors, and your traps? No. There are way bigger, way stronger muscles working than just your grip. So yeah, get straps. Mostly concerned about the volume in this program because in my standard program I was doing lots of volume in the workouts, particularly in back training. So I'm wondering if the push-pull legs would deprive me from the willingness for high volume and high intensity workouts. And lastly, I want to ask about legs because there aren't a lot of leg machines in my gym, like the adductor and abductor or seated curls. So I find it hard to put up the correct exercise for both 1 leg and 2 leg workouts. Suspicious about my squatting. Don't know if I rest a lot between sets, but it's kind of hard not to from the squat. Do I do enough reps and sets? Okay, so there's a couple things that I'm going to touch in on this. Like, I'm gonna have to like stop here because I don't want to just like lose everything, right? Volume. We know that there's a dose response relationship. So the more volume you do, generally the better it is for hypertrophy. However, with that being said, you can't just do high volume on every single muscle. When it comes to training certain muscle groups, it's, in my opinion, ideal to have an actual goal, an actual ideal. For me, I'm very much into the aesthetic of someone who is really wide. So the V taper look. So wide lats, broad shoulders, like just really big up top, like they're looking like they have football pads on all the time. I like that look. So for volume, my volume allocation is basically another key aspect of it is time management. Like given the amount of time you spend in the gym, how much time do you actually want to go to each muscle? And it can be distributed pretty evenly, but that kind of comes at the cost of progression, and size gains in that direction might be kind of hindered depending on if your muscle takes over or you're just a high responder to that movement or not. So you kind of run that risk if you yeah, I'm much more of the opinion that if you have a specific body part you really like to work, train that more, and then just put the other on the minimum effective volume or just whatever it takes to maintain it. That's kind of what I do with my legs, to be honest. But the thing is, like, my deadlift is running into the issue where my quads are becoming the limiting factor. So I guess I have to squat. But anyway, legs. So there aren't a lot of leg machines. There's always a way to get around this. You can always do something. You can put a barbell behind the squat, like in the power rack, like kind of behind it. Put, you know, that squat pad that people do when they're afraid to squat heavy. You can put that on there and then just put your feet under, like make sure there's plates on both sides, and boom, suddenly you have a Nordic hamstring curl. And then you can do that one-legged or two-legged, and now you can work the back of your leg. Adductor and abductor strength, you don't need to use a machine for that. Just get some pretty light dumbbells and do some Cossack squats, I believe they're called. I just call them Goku squats because the first time I saw a movement like that was when I was watching Dragon Ball as a kid. So yeah, just do that. Let's see. Also, and 1 to 2 exercises. Also, I have been suspicious about my squatting. I don't know if I rest a lot. So squats are going to be squats and deadlifts are going to be the movements that tax you the most cardiovascularly speaking, because you're just using so much of your body. So much of your body is going to these two movements. So much blood has to be pumped throughout the entire body because everything is involved. Your back, your shoulders, your quads, your core. So much of your body is just involved in this movement, and you're lifting pretty heavy weights. So your body needs a lot of oxygen. So if your cardio is not there, that can be an issue. So if you're really sucking wind doing let's see, I'm more about 7 or 8 on the squat, meaning I won't lift a lot of weight because so I mean, let's see, so he's in the 4 to 8 rep range, and that's still very good for strength and size, but that's still heavy enough where it can be where limiting factors will be strength, muscular endurance, and cardio. So regardless, if you're sucking wind on squats, you might want to question your priorities and question the priorities of the workout program and address if you're getting enough cardio. Are you walking throughout the day? Are you doing your 10 minutes of treadmill every workout, or 10 minutes of the elliptical rather? These small things will really add up in terms of your ability to perform in the gym. You don't want to be the guy who's sucking wind after a set of squats. You want to be the person who can actually follow through their rest times and say, all right, I'm going to rest only 2 minutes. I'm going to rest only 3 minutes. And at the end of those 3 minutes, you're not going to be like 30 more seconds. And then you go from there. Like, you want to actually be fit enough to recover from your work. And you don't need to be a marathon runner to do this. You just need the bare minimum amount. 10 minutes of treadmill before your workouts. Walk throughout your day. Do something like that. Do something for the heart and for the lungs, because when you go into the gym, if cardio is what's holding you back, then how hard can you actually work when it's time to hit the weights, whether it be for strength or size? Brittany Peril, I don't know who that is. Advice on how to proceed, maintaining good feeling from exercise. Keep exercising. Let's see. Good feelings do go, like, so yeah, well, here's the thing. In life, in the gym, any good feeling you have is temporary, and that's not a bad thing. And this isn't to say like, oh, you should be constantly chasing it. It's more so rather it's the acceptance that you, I'm trying to find the right way to kind of like phrase this, but if you want to live a satisfactory life, it's more than just getting what you want, it's actually wanting what you get. So part of that will come down to when these good feelings go away, it just kind of shows you that it will come and it will go, and the sooner you accept that, the better. But the cool thing is, you can also accept the fact that you can actively create these good feelings, and even if they go away, they'll always come back if you stay loyal to the path of righteous action, which is going to the gym. Sorry I didn't read the whole thing, but I kind of like just stuck on that. Should I train anyway with a hurt wrist? Yes. I box like for cardio, and very, very rarely, like at least like maybe once a year or so, I'll like throw a punch and I'll just like angle itself just really weird, because I'm not proficient at it at all, like, or I'm not an expert at it, I should say. Like, I do it very recreationally, and I haven't like had a instructor for a couple years now. So, but I just kind of like go based off like my memory because I was instructed for a time. So every now and then, like at least like once a year, because I don't really remember it being worse than that, I'll throw a punch and it just doesn't go that well. And most of the time, it happens when I don't take my warm up or when I don't take my wrapping seriously. Um, so with that, when it comes to any exercise, any injury that I do, I am more so of the belief that you should just keep moving it. Like if you stop moving it, going to it's going to stop moving on its own, and then the pain is going to get worse. So when I tweaked my back, when I tweak my elbow, when I tweak my wrist, the way that I recover through it is actually through more exercise. I do more rehab stuff in addition to it, and I change how I go through my regular workout. But generally speaking, I just do that. Let's see. Fitness Reddit 17. Let's see. This is 15 minutes long. Progressive overload without good increments. Campus gym. So there's actually a lot of good questions on here, so I'm definitely gonna have to come back. So yeah, this will be part one of a much longer series where I just kind of like go through questions across the internet and make answers here. So if you have questions, please leave them in the comments. And and I really hope that those who wrote it find my content and find my answer, but I'll probably leave a comment as well. It's just most of my thoughts are here now. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm King, StanceTraining.com. I have free programs on my website as well as merch. So I try to keep the merch as reasonably priced and on the low end of things, so that way I'm like really cutting into just like what is enough to make the actual product, ship the actual product to you, and just get the smallest marginal gain out of it, because I don't think clothes should be that expensive. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot more free content. So free content from the channel, free content on my website itself, like free programs and other resources that you can use. So if you want to support the channel, just like, comment, and subscribe. That's free. And if you want to go the extra mile, which I will really, really appreciate, there's merch. So that way you're not just getting something out of nothing, and all the really good, important stuff is all free. So thank you so much for watching. I'm King, StanceTraining.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.